you at the front of your presentation.
You can. Yes.
Well done.
I'll show you how to do that as well in just a moment. So before we officially get started, I want to thank the SCPA for hosting this event. The SCPA is your postgraduate association, and they have funded this evening, and they offer lots of other training as well that I'll probably direct you to towards the end of this session. And most importantly, I'd like to acknowledge the country that I am presenting to you from today, which is Yugambeh country. And I know that we are all coming from so many different areas around Australia, and feel free to pop it in the chat, which is the little button down the bottom, where you're coming from. It'd be lovely to see who we have in the room here this evening. And if you know what country you're on, feel free to share that as well. So, as I said, we're going to be talking about presenting online, and I am going to share you the things that I have learned after spending so much time presenting online in the last couple of years. However, the people in the room may have some other ideas as well. So please feel free, if you're like, I know a better way to do this, put your hand up, turn your mic on, share. We can all learn with each other. I'm a student. My name's Katie. I'm in the very final stages of my PhD. I'm hoping to submit in the next couple of months. So it's been a long journey for me with SCU, and we're all learning together as students, which is what I really am passionate about. So first and foremost, Zoom basics. Is everyone pretty familiar with being on Zoom? I know it's not the only way that we present online. I know that a lot of people use, say, Microsoft Teams or Collaborate if you're sort of working within perhaps the university sector. Everyone here pretty happy with Zoom? You've used it before? Yep. I'm finding it hard to see everyone. Sorry, someone just spoke there for a minute. No? All pretty good. You use Teams a lot more and using Zooms with SCU. Yeah, I know a lot of schools are using Teams, but Zoom is the one that we're going to be talking about today. So first and foremost, obviously we need to be well lit, particularly if we're recording a presentation that's going to go out to sort of for fairly important things, whether it's an assignment or a business presentation. It's really important that you think about your lighting and also your background. So we've got quite a few different options that I might just show you really quickly. Today, what I'm using is, it's a new, it's in beta testing in Zoom, which is where you're actually using your PowerPoint as the background, the virtual background. There are quite a few other ways that you can either just have a really clean background. What I might do is just stop sharing here for just a moment, and I'm going to go through a few of the ways that you can just make sure you're a little bit tidy when you're presenting, because I really believe that it's so important that you can see faces. This online space is so difficult to navigate. Seeing a face talk to you makes a huge difference when we're communicating. So I'm just going to stop sharing and we can see each other a little bit more. What you can see with my one is actually, this was from earlier today. This is one of my artworks. It's a virtual background, but you can very easily change your background on Zoom, which is if everyone looks down the bottom. If you're on a PC, if you're on a phone, I may not be able to give you some instructions, but down the bottom is a mute button and a stop video button. If you press the little chevron next to the stop video, not everyone has their videos on, so you might have to start sharing your video if you'd like to try this. There's a little chevron there. No one cares what you look like. I'm wearing pajama bottoms, so don't worry about sharing. And you can change your virtual background here. So you press the little chevron and there is choose virtual background. And so I've actually, I do visual art, so I've uploaded a lot of different photos that I have. there are some pre-provided ones there, but the very simple one that you can do if you really don't want to show what you've got in your background is you can select the blur, which I actually think is not a terrible option. For me, this is my office. I actually have paintings in the background anyway, and you can see all of my mess over here. So I normally do try to have something on there. So there's that one there. And then the other thing that you can do, which I only found out the other day, and also I think it is important not to have too many distracting things as well, because I think it can get a bit much depending on your situation. You may want to keep something. This was, I forgot that I actually had this picture on. It was from a meeting I was doing earlier today about arts-based learning. So I've got this up here, but for a more professional event, I might try and have something a little bit cleaner in my background. The other thing you can do, if you would like, is to just think about down the bottom corner, there are studio effects as well, which is new. I possibly would not be doing those, but there's a lot of different things that you can do with your background on Zoom. The next thing that I want to show you guys is that you need to share a screen often. Usually you're not speaking just with a bunch of people like this, although I quite like it when we can see each other. But down the bottom of Zoom, you can see there is a green button, which is your share screen. So that's the button that I'm not going to get anyone else to press that now, because that would mean you would share your screen. But I'm going to go back in and I've got some screenshots to show you. Give me one moment opening this up. So what you can see here is this is actually a screenshot of what comes up when I press share my screen. Is everyone, does everyone already know all of this information, and would you like me to skip forward really quickly, or are you feeling okay with this level of explanation?
This is new to me. I've used it for Zoom, but I've
Beautiful.
never done
That's
that.
great.
Yep.
I'll try not to spend too long.
as well.
Excellent. That's great. It's good to know. So when you click that button, you may not get as many screens come up here. I actually, I wish I could show you. I'm sitting in front of 3 monitors. I spend a lot of time in front of my computer. So what you're seeing is my 3 different screens, plus also a whiteboard, and then you're seeing the few different things that I've got that I had open on my computer. So if you've just got a laptop, you might have a really simple thing to choose from. But I have to think fairly carefully about what I'm going to share with you guys, because, you know, I don't want to share my emails, or I don't want to share some TV show that I've been watching. So I have to look at it and choose what I want to share. And when I click on that, what will happen is it shares. And I've been in so many presentations. It's really important that you pay attention to the green line that will come up around the screen that you share, or around, say, the tab, because you can see down here, if I was going to share in the bottom left here near the red arrow, you can see that would be sharing a tab from my Chrome browser. And you want to make sure that you've shared the right thing. So what will happen when you share it is there's a green line that pops up around it. And that shows, and you know, it doesn't hurt to ask your audience, can you see what I'm sharing? Is it all working? I don't think there's a problem with that. I think everyone understands that this is just an interface that we need to try to communicate with each other. The only other thing I want to note here is if you're sharing a video or something that needs audio, it's really important that you, down the bottom here, I've got a red arrow. It's a tiny little box. It says share sound. If you would like to share sound with your audience, you need to remember to check that box. And once you check that box, the sound will work. I've been in many a presentation where a video will start playing and everyone sits there going, I think there's meant to be audio here and it's not working, and then they have to stop sharing and share again. And if that happens to you, I mean, it's fine. I think it happens to all of us, but if you can remember to click that bottom button, then you're all set. So you can see here that I am down the bottom with my PowerPoint slide behind me as a virtual background. And to be honest, I've only learned how to do this today. So I wanted to show you how to do that, which is when you share, you will up the top, there's the basic options and then there's the advanced options. And you can click on the advanced options and then click on this PowerPoint as virtual background. And what happens is a little box opens up and then you select the PowerPoint slide that's saved on your computer and it just opens up and works. So the other thing that I'd like to suggest to everyone is, excuse me, it doesn't hurt to practice this. You can open up Zoom and start a meeting on your own, and which I often do when I'm practicing, and you can practice sharing on your own and have a little go and make sure these things work before you actually present. And I'll just put a little plug in here that the SCPA is running a conference at the end of October. And as postgraduate students, you are all welcome to present at that. And it is an incredibly supportive group of students who we present to each other. And this is the first of many workshops that we're running over the next couple of months about how to present. We've got some workshops about confidence with our presenting and how to share your knowledge and all sorts of things. And there will be time to practice there as well. So that's just a little plug. The applications to present close this Friday. So before we move on, because I actually want to start sharing my PowerPoint and show you some of the little tricks for developing some PowerPoint slides, I just wanted to share with everyone how important it is to use images that are not sort of taken from the internet without given proper credit. So we really need to use images because it's so important to communicate visually as well as verbally. I just thought I'd share my 4 favorite sites with everyone. And I can send out these slides. You don't have to worry about writing it down. If you like, I can send this out tomorrow. But these are the 4 sites that I like to use to grab some images, because that's one of the most exciting things for me. I mean, I'm an artist. I love the visual parts of a presentation, but these are the really quick ways that you can grab some quick images. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stop sharing here and I'm going to share actual PowerPoint. I'm going to take you through a few of the tricks. Has everyone here used PowerPoint before? You can pop it in the chat.
Yep.
Most of us should have, I'd say. All good? Yep. All right. So please feel free to pipe up and say, I know this, or slow down either way. So I'm just taking a moment to think about what I'm sharing for you. I find it hard to do while I'm talking. Can everyone see the PowerPoint slide that I have shared with you guys?
Yes.
You can see PowerPoint?
Yep.
All right, hold on. So I want to show you guys a few little tips and tricks. For me, this PowerPoint slide I made this morning, I had a Word document and I just wrote really basic dot points of what I wanted to share. And then what I did, and I might actually show it to you first, because I've been very busy lately. Can you see that the back of my screen now that I've minimized that?
Beautiful.
All right, excellent. So what I actually did this morning to create that slide was I actually used Word Online. I mean, normally I use Microsoft Word on my computer, but I logged into Word Online, which as SCU students, you all have access to an account to use Microsoft Word Online. I logged in, this is what you see here. And I actually just popped, actually, I might be able to see it here. This is what I put in. This was my note taking. I'm like, this is all the stuff I want to share with everyone. And I actually got Word to create a PowerPoint for me. And how I did that was, and I might actually show you, because you've seen that PowerPoint, I might actually show you with something a little bit more complicated. This is part of a chapter. I've got it pre-prepared for you. This is part of a chapter from my PhD. It only copes with about 3,000 words. So I've copied and pasted it here online. And I just want to show you how powerful the technology is. What you can do is you click on the file and you click export and then export PowerPoint presentation. Now it's not going to do everything for you because you know what you want to share, but it will do something. So I'm just going to pick, I like that one, and I'm going to press export, and it's doing its fancy thing. Oh, goodness me. Normally it does do stuff. Why is it doing that? It may be because it's slightly too long. Let me take some. Here you go. You're seeing that sometimes there's faults. We'll try one more time, but I do have one that's pre-prepared, so I'll show you that one. I think, all right. I'm glad I was pre-prepared. This is the one I actually did this morning when I was practicing. I promise you that it did work. And this is what actually came up. I pressed export. Oh, this is not it. Hold on. Here it is. All right. I pressed export and a whole new tab came up and it actually read my information and kind of summarized it a little bit. So I always find that this is a quick way that you could start a design. If you're tired and you don't have a lot of time, you could plug some of your writing in or your note taking in and it will start you off a little bit. Has anyone seen this function before?
No, but it looks absolutely amazing.
It's a little bit of fun. So you can see that that has come up with these examples of things that are kind of summarizing the information that I had written. Now, I don't necessarily like this, but it actually has the option. Normally, it actually pops up straight away. So I'm going to open it here. In the design section, you can actually open up the designer and it has this information here, and then it actually gives you a whole bunch of ideas that change that information into different. So I could choose, sorry, my computer's really struggling, I think, while I'm sharing. I could choose this, or I really, I might like this one, and it gives me a good start that I can then fiddle with. Personally, I actually think there's way too much information on these. When I'm presenting, I never would have this much text, but you could possibly go through and delete some of it, or you can actually develop your own PowerPoint slides from scratch and putting what sort of information you'd like to put on there. I like to do a lot of really large images, and I know I just shared with you some of the sites that I like to use, but if you happen to be using this format, you can actually do some of your searching for images within this section here, which is on the right hand side. If you scroll right down to the bottom of the designer section, you actually can search for pictures here, and all of these pictures are Creative Commons, so they're okay to use. So it's coming up with suggested things it's a bit of a funny piece of writing that I've got there. It depends. The importance of the arts is what I've just searched, but I think that I could search for, I'm talking about the visual arts, so I might put in art and see what comes up, and it's come up with those pictures. They're not as great. If you were doing something visual, maybe I'll just type painting, that might be a little bit more specific, but it's come up with a whole bunch of paintings. So I could actually choose that picture, it's popped it on there. Obviously, the designer is trying to figure out what to do with 2 pictures. So you'd need to then go and decide to get rid of that one. And the designer is trying to come up with some ideas for me that I can use. Okay, so that's just one way that we can maybe try to save some time, is that we can get, so just to revise that, what I did there is I opened up Word Online and I put in some text. If your text is really well organized, PowerPoint, it likes that better. If you've got headings and subheadings, it'll really, the artificial intelligence will read that and it will go, well, you know, there's 4 headings and there's 3 points to each heading, and it will actually pull those out for you in a really, so I guess if you're a really good writer, you'll get some really good PowerPoint slides without any work. But we can always do a little bit of work to make sure it all makes sense. So that's one way that we can create our slides. The old-fashioned way is that you can open up PowerPoint itself, which I think I have. Just one moment, I had it open. While I'm getting this ready, does anyone have any questions?
Katie, will that take all the text that you've got and put it into a lot of slides, or is it's actually smart enough to? Yeah.
No, you can see before that I think I had nearly 3,000 words.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
And it kind of just really cut it down. So for me, that works, putting in like a whole chapter like that. If I'm sharing on my research, you know, if I've only got 15 minutes, I could let it do that, and it helps organize my thoughts a little bit, and then I can share. If you've got really specific things you want to say, you may need to fiddle with it a fair bit yourself. But it's just one idea and one way that you can create a really quick PowerPoint. So the other thing that I'd like to share with you with PowerPoint. Oh, Natalie, that's great. I'd love to see how it goes. That you've got, I can see here Natalie's put in the chat that she's got 3,000 words in a 3-minute presentation. So on the weekend, good timing. So what I might do here is just, I'm going to open up a new slide, and you can see that my new slide, when I opened it up, it actually already has some design elements on it. Is everyone familiar with the Slide Master or slide templates? Has anyone heard of those before? Yep. So what this is this, this is a template that I've used for anyone who is not sure. And if you can click on the layout here, you can actually see that I have a few different options that I could use that all have the same. So I'll just see. The title slide sort of adds in this little bit. If anyone's actually grabbed one of those before off the internet, or you can get them from, let's see, if I was to open up a new slide, everyone has different options. I've got Windows 2019. If you've got, I think it's 365, you actually have an even bigger amount of templates that you can grab. I'm not a massive fan of templates, but that's because I like really designing my presentations myself. But one of the tricks that, so you can see that I've got a template here. One of the tricks to adjust that, if you really don't, I don't really want that line there, or I want to change this, there is actually a way on PowerPoint that you can adjust it for all of them, and that's called the Slide Master. So how you get to that is you go up to View, up the top, and the Slide Master is just here. So when you open up the Slide Master, it's actually like a way for you to tell your PowerPoint slide that it has a consistent font and a consistent background. So you can actually go in and edit that so that you don't have to choose on each and every page what you're going to do. So when you open up Slide Master, you actually need to go over to the left here and scroll up. And this big number 1 here is actually the master slide tile. And so you can see that if I decided, oh, I really don't want this pink little swirl in the corner here, you can actually edit it and just get rid of it. If I wanted a cleaner, I might get rid of that. Or I might decide, oh, I've got this here, but I might change the colors to more of a blue theme there. Actually, let's pretend. I'm going to put that back and I'm just going, you can see that I can delete it, but I'm actually just going to go and change the color there. So just one moment. Hold on. I might change it to, let's just make it really obvious. We'll change that one. So we've got green up the top, pink down the bottom. Now back in my Slide Master here, I've made that change. And when I close my Slide Master, you'll actually see that my entire slideshow has changed when that, see how I've changed the coloring there? So that's just one way that you can actually really customize your slides. And you can either do that at the beginning, which I recommend, if you have got something that you've already downloaded, you can tweak it and make sure that your whole slide has a nice continuity to it. So that's just, again, that's if you go to View, you open the Slide Master, you can make changes. And so there's the big master slide, or there's also all these other slides. So you can actually design a few different types of slides that you use. And once you've got those, this is, for example, I could put a logo in here if there's a particular logo that you wanted to use. Or you may actually find that you need to have a presentation that's really has your school colors, or it has like the SCU branding behind it. And this is how you can actually work with that. And you can actually download, I think, the SCU template, which I'm sure you've seen in quite a few of your lectures perhaps, or if you've ever seen a presentation, there's actually an SCU template that is used. To be honest, I don't love it. I think that there's a lot more interesting ways that you can share your information, but this is how that is done. And you can decide that your font, you can go in and change the fonts. Let's say, well, that's awful, and I will change it to size 80. All right. I've tried to do a really big change here. It's probably not a great change, but I'm trying to do it to show you that it actually will change the way things work. So you can see that the fonts, well, you haven't seen that there because I actually have gone in and changed this font manually. If you change something manually in your PowerPoint, it will actually override the Style Master. But that's just another little tip that you can use if you're wanting to sort of really modify what you're doing in PowerPoint. Right, now that I've got this little blank slide, I'm just going to make it really blank. I'm going to show you two more things in here, and then I want to take you over and show you how to record in PowerPoint, because I think that's one of the most helpful things that I've learned for making lots of short little presentations. So the first thing I want to show you is that when you're designing your slides, I think you should all have this version of PowerPoint. If not, you may need to update it, but you should have the option to go for icons, which icons used to be really daggy. But they're actually quite good in here, in PowerPoint at the moment, because it is really important to use a visual so that you replace a lot of the words that you're using. So for example, if I wanted to, I'm talking about, this is probably a good one, I'm going to select this one. I'm talking about thinking skills in students, and we're talking about sort of metacognition. I might grab this one here and insert it. Now, that's fine, but what you can do is, I actually really quite like when icons are really large with just a small amount of words next to them, and that's okay, but it doesn't really fit with my theme that I've got going here because it's really black. But I can definitely go in and I can change that to any color that I like. So I'm actually going, oh, that's a bit ugly, but I'm just going to make it, I'm using the eyedropper. That pink is awful, so I'm going to, and obviously you also need to be careful not to waste too much time doing this. And as you can see, sometimes you can waste a bit of time on little things, but you can change the color, change the size of your icons. That's insert icons, and you can really quickly communicate some information. So if you're talking about some data, you might have this one, make it a bit bigger and change the color. You could use just black, but I actually find that even just changing everything to like a nice, see, I keep clicking on the outline. You don't need to change the outline. Even changing it to a nice navy just makes it actually just look a little bit like you've personalized it. So that is the icons. I encourage you to use them. I find they're actually really great. You can type in, I'll open it up one more time. You can type in words as well. So for me, as always, I am talking about art. I've typed in paint. I could use this paintbrush. I could use it as an icon. I can make it larger and I can change the color. So that is one option. And then the other thing that I'd like to show you, this is a crazy slide, certainly not an appealing looking slide, is that you can actually insert pictures from the web from here as well, like we did in the PowerPoint online. So you can go insert, and then you want to insert online pictures. Sometimes you just don't have time to go searching, and these will all be okay to use within your slides. So if I was giving a presentation about healthy eating, I could put this one, and it comes up with a whole bunch of really great images, and it will just download it from the internet. And my computer is struggling, so it's taking a little bit of time. Normally it doesn't. I think it's because I'm sharing online here. But here is my really large image. So I also think, just as a everyone's different, but for me, big images capture your attention. And I think that the bigger the image, if you've got the space, you may as well have a large image. And what you can do with that image is you can actually change the, sorry, just one moment, format picture. You can actually change the opacity of a picture as well. If that's like a little bit too much, you can change that opacity down to make it slightly transparent. So, which I know how to do, and here we go. So to do that there, so to step you through it, I actually clicked right click and I went format picture. And what that opens up is this format bar over the side here. And you can actually do a lot of things with the picture color, the saturation. My computer's really struggling. can tone that picture right down, which I actually think is sometimes really effective. And you can actually change the opacity as well, which for some reason I can't find at the moment. But it is there at some stage. Does anyone have any questions before we move on?
What's opacity?
Oh, sorry, it's where there's something see-through. So opaque is you can't see through it. And then you can change it down to be almost like a watermark.
Got you,
like
thank
almost see-through. Which is kind of embarrassing that I can't find it, and I've just said that I do it, and I usually do it all the time, but that is fine. So what I want to show you guys now, unless someone else has any other questions.
Oh, Katie, I just have a question. You might be showing us soon, but with such a large picture like that, would you also recommend any text on that same slide, or not so much?
Both. It depends. Yeah, if I was to have a really large picture, and I might, because I've just deleted that there, so I might actually go up to this one here. For this one here, I chose not to have like it was pretty big, but I could have chosen to pop it larger to cover the whole screen. And then what I could do is I've right-clicked is what I've done there. And then I'm going to actually send it back so that my text comes up here. You can't see it, yes? So I could choose to put it there. And then I don't love that font anyway. I'm a massive fan of really clean fonts and just quite, I spelled it wrong. I was very rushed today. There we go. That's another tip for you, is always check the spelling of your presentation. Let's see. Change that font size right up. Oops, sorry. And that's too big. There, I might take that down to, oh, it's such a big word, isn't it? Hold on. Pop it there, and I'm missing the of, aren't I? And you can see that I've actually just made it bigger than the actual screen. So you might want to, you could crop that down. I always just make it bigger, and I'll just see, sorry. I'm only sharing this one screen, aren't I, with you, and you can't see what I'm doing there. Sorry. Yeah, so you can see there that what I've got is a really large word on top, and there's a few different ways that you can do it. Look, you could put a little text box. Can you still see this?
Yep.
Yep. You could put a little box behind it and have a really transparent box behind it to make the text stand out, but I actually think the text stands out there. The other option is to change the color of the text as well. So you could change it to, if you wanted to keep that text above that tree, you could have perhaps changed it to white so that you can really see it. Or have a box behind it. But I always prefer to perhaps do some sort of transparent box, of which I really should remember how to make transparent colors right now. But that's another way that you can really make the words stand out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to share with you how we can record something. So there's a bunch of different ways, but in PowerPoint, when you are doing the recording, sorry, There we go. When you're doing the recording, the way that you go and do it, and the simplest way, is that you click on, home. You click on slideshow, which is up the top. And it is not letting me record slide. I'm just going to stop sharing for a moment and get it set up. I think it's because I'm already sharing my window. I've been talking non-stop for a while. Does anyone have any questions or comments while I get this set up? Feel free to pop your mic on.
I've been just noticing myself, Katie, is that to do with the lighting? I've got a brand new computer. It should be good, but I can see a wavy sort of effect on the light behind me. I don't know if that shows up just for you guys.
Yeah, I think it's your lighting. Yeah, it's AC 50 hertz, so that's flickering.
Is that the actual light in this room?
Light in your room, yeah.
Oh, nothing to do with my computer. I need to get a better light. Yeah, is that it?
I think you cannot do much because that's flickering is 60 hertz of electricity.
Yeah,
AC.
okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you're recording something, you could choose to do it in the daytime where you get better daylight. Nighttime is difficult. But yeah, it's not happening on my one, is it? I wonder if you, and it's not really happening on your face either. So I wonder if you just blurred your background, if it wouldn't be a big deal, just as an option.
Is that a fluorescent light or something you have in the background? CFL?
Yeah, it's just the light in the ceiling fan. So I'm not technological enough to know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so
thank you, though.
Ceiling fan, I wonder if that's what it is. The fan moving around as well in front of the light.
It's not on, but
okay.
I'll have a look during the day. Yeah, thank you.
You can see up here, I'm sharing the screen again, and you can see my PowerPoint slide. On the slideshow, there's actually a button that pops up called Record Slideshow. So I'm going to try and do this. It actually will... Sorry,
Looks
I
like
had it all practiced before for you. Just one sec. Okay, I have to stop sharing again and try again. So bear with me. I'm just trying to share. When you click on that button, what opens up is this. Is it working? A black screen?
Yep. Yes, you can see it now.
Okay, excellent. So when you click on that button, Record Slideshow, what comes up is this. Now, normally it would actually come up with your video. So I'm going to try and stop sharing my video and on Zoom so that it will register me over here, turning my camera on. Now you can see me. You can't see my face because I'm having to use another monitor here, so that you could pretend that I am looking at the camera here. So I just want to do an actual demonstration of how this works to make a recording with PowerPoint. So you open this up here, and it is really this simple. You press the big red button in the top left corner that says record. So I'm going to do that now. Gives me a countdown, and I get ready, and I'm going to talk now about this stuff, and I'm presenting, and I use this little arrow here to go to my next slide, and I'm talking about more stuff, and you go through and you present, and it's not a huge pressure that you're recording, because what you can actually do, sorry, I'm continuing here talking about this stuff, is what it actually does is it attaches a little video to each slide. So I am nearly done here. I'm going to keep going through. I'll keep doing it here and then stop. You could pause if you wanted, but I've just stopped there. Okay, so I'm escaping out of that. Now I'm going to try and show you. Has that dragged over for you? Can you see my slide now?
Yes.
Yes, beautiful. So what you can see is I pressed stop and then I escaped out of the recording studio spot. I'll turn my camera on over here so you can see me over here. And what it has done is it has attached the little video here down the bottom and the audio. And what you can actually do is if you made a mistake on one of them, you don't have to re-record from the beginning and you don't have to edit it all down. You can just maybe go, oh, this little section was really bad. I'm going to delete that and I'll re-record that section. So that's what's really great about doing it in PowerPoint is you don't have to be really fandangly with your editing skills. You just can do slide by slide. Now, this is not a video yet. This is just the videos attached within here. How you get the video is you go up to File and then you go down to Export. And on Export, it has a couple of different options. You want to create a video and you want to keep the recorded times and narration because that's what you've just done. And you just literally press export, and I'm going to save mine to downloads is probably easiest for me. I'm going to save it to there and hit save. You'd probably save it somewhere special. And what it's doing is it's taking a little time to download there, and it just takes a few minutes and then you can have a little watch of that video, and I'll try and play it for you and we'll see if it works. But it is that simple. Has anyone recorded in PowerPoint like that before?
No.
No, and I needed that last semester. Where were you, Katie?
Oh, sorry. There's lots of other ways that you can record, and we are going to run out of time tonight to talk about them, but I might just really briefly go over them. Is the other way, if you've got a Mac, the way that you can do sharing of your screen, and I always forget the name of the software because I'm not a Mac person, QuickTime. And that's where you can do the same thing, is you can record your screen. It's very simple software to use. It's the best program that there is, I think. I don't have a Mac, so I can't use QuickTime. The other ways, well, there's the PowerPoint. The other way is you could open up a Zoom meeting and record in Zoom. I know a lot of people who do that, even if you're on your own. You can open it up, record, and it will record to your computer. So that's one way. But I think that through the PowerPoint, unless you have, I actually use software called Camtasia, but it's very expensive. There's OBS Studios that you can download. That's another one. But that PowerPoint with the ability to edit out the individual little segment, I think is really helpful for a lot of the things that we do as students, and think it's the most powerful. Has anyone tried any other ways? Is there QuickTime for Windows?
Yeah, if there's a QuickTime version for Windows, but I haven't tried that particular one. I don't know it has the full functionality of the Mac.
Does it cost money? Because I never like things that cost money, but that's exciting.
It may be, because it's a player is a free QuickTime player, but maybe a editor, maybe a.
The last one. Oh, that's so exciting. I'm going to go look that up. Obviously, we're learning from each other. That's great. That's so good. There's two more that I want to share with you that we don't have a lot of time, but if you wanted to spend some time on them. One of them is called loom.com. And if you're recording something that's really quick, it's fantastic. If you have something that's 5 minutes or like even maybe 10 minutes, Loom, actually I'll share my screen with you so that you can see what I'm talking about. Emma, you are onto it. Loom. Oh, I've got Prezi open, but I will get back to that one in a minute. let's see if it opens up quickly for me. So Loom is a free website that you can see I've done a few in the past. I did some for the unit that I taught last year, but it is it comes up with a little circle. I'll see if you can, I'll stop my camera here because otherwise it won't work. But it is very simple where you say, record video. Is this working for you guys to see? No.
Yes.
Yeah. It is actually trying to use my snap camera, which is where I can look like a cartoon character. Let's just ignore that one. It has a little circle down the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
And you can change the size of the circle. And what that will record is whatever is on your screen at the time. So you could pull up your PowerPoint slide, or you could be needing to explain something about something that is on the internet. And this is a really quick way to do it. And so you do your really quick recording, and in seconds it comes down, and you can trim a little bit at the front and the back, and then you can download that for free. Anything longer than about 5 or 10 minutes, I find it struggles with, but it's a really great way to do some quick recording as well.
Does it flow over multiple slides like PowerPoint does?
No. No. So it's just I could record for 5 minutes. You can do a little bit of trimming. You can cut bits out of it, but no, it's not as flexible as the PowerPoint recording. I have 5 more minutes left. Prezi is another one, which is actually, Prezi is another type of, I find Prezi gives me a bit of a headache because it's, has everyone seen Prezi before? It's like PowerPoint, but it kind of moves a lot.
Yeah.
Yep, in and out.
In and out. You can see all these dumb ones of me trying. I try so many different types. I wonder if I can show this, whether it will work. This is from a while ago. But what you can actually do is you have your PowerPoint slide kind of over the top of your face.
Welcome to the Foundations.
Can you hear
unit
that?
of the Arts. For many of you, this is
Yes.
the first unit that you've ever taken.
Oh, let's
in your
ignore
very
me.
new
How
studies.
embarrassing.
You really
But
need
you
to
can
get
see
your head
that it's,
around what you need to do to be successful.
The writing comes up over the top of my face. So it's not like a little square and sharing a slide. The information kind of comes up and you're sort of fully present. It's a different way of presenting. I actually think it's quite cool. And it's also free. I think if you need to do more things, you might need to pay money, but it's free. So we might just take a moment and I will see if my PowerPoint has downloaded for me. And I will open her up. And I'm going to talk. Can you hear it?
Stuff and I'm presenting.
Oh.
Yes.
Yep.
Arrow here to go to my next slide, and I'm talking about more stuff, and go through and you present. And it's not a huge pressure that you're recording, because what you can actually do.
All right, so I've stopped sharing that. I will turn my camera back on.
Could you change that, Katie, so you're in a circle there, or is it always the box in the corner?
There's always a box in the corner for the PowerPoint. Sorry, I'm trying to turn my camera. Oh, my camera's on. And so we very successfully, very quickly created a video there. And you can see it's quite seamless as it moves from slide to slide. And with that, you should be able to create a presentation quite easily. So you could use Word Online to artificially use its intelligence to create your PowerPoint slide, and you do a little bit of jigging with it, and then you jump on there and you can just do your recording. And then if you make mistakes, you can fix them. And then remember that it's just a few clicks of your button to export that video out. And then save it. Does anyone have any last minute questions before we wrap up?
No, thanks, Katie. That's been amazing. I've got a couple of tricks I'm going to try now. So thank you. I'm
No
impressed
problem.
with the way Word creates your own presentations. So that's great.
Excellent. I know it was a bit of a discovery of mine, although I love creating a slide. But when you're really short on time,
Yep.
some robot can do it for you.
Some app is very helpful.
Yeah, excellent. I'm happy to stick around for the next couple of minutes if you wanted to chat about different things. Otherwise, thank you so much for coming. Check out the, I will be sending everyone who registered a little feedback form probably tomorrow morning. With that, I'll send a little list of those websites for the Creative Commons images, and I'll put a little link in there for the application to present at our conference as well, so that if you wanted to present, you could create a cool recording and do that, or you could present live at our conference as well. So it's free. It's very supportive. It is online this year, but we are working to do some fun things and post you some interesting, fun care packages in the mail and do some really nice things to get students connected as well. So thank you for coming and spending some time with me this evening.
Okay, thank you, Katie. Thanks for it.
Thanks, Katie.
Thank
Appreciate
Bye.
it.
No problems. I am happy to stick around and answer some questions if anyone has any, but otherwise have a lovely evening.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You too.
Bye.
I can't hear you, Natalie, if you were talking.
Yeah, I was. I had it off, didn't I? I've got a question about the conference. So I've registered. So I'm assuming somebody will get in touch with me soon at some stage to let me know what's happening.
Yeah, that will be me. And I will get in contact with you next week. So we actually extended out the deadline to this Friday.
Good. Yeah.
And then I will be working on it very hard on Monday, and I reckon you'll get an email early next week.
Oh, that's okay. There's no rush. It was really good because I thought late October was a good time because I think our next assessment is due at the end of September. Then we're finished. It's like, oh, phew. And so then I can focus on it. So the timing worked really well. And I know Carl was trying to get a few of us to put our hands up. So yeah, I think it's a really good opportunity to give it a go.